Hey everyone, Ryan Young, Kama Jiu-Jitsu. Hope you're doing well. Today I thought I'd answer another question that we got off of the comments on the YouTube channel. And also want to make a quick note. On the video that was just uploaded, so by the time you see this, it'll be a little while ago, it was a video on the Pareto Principle. They talk about how I seem to contradict myself when I say that go with what you're successful with for maybe your 20% and then remaining 80% discard. But what he's saying is that what if I'm doing a lot of the new style game and I'm good at it, so I'm saying therefore to go to those moves and not go to the fundamental moves. I've got an answer coming to it. I'll do an answer for this, but this answer with a lot more detail on it, with what the principles you need to know and the concepts you need to know, basically the need to know stuff. I'm going to put this on our Patreon channel. So if you want to see it, go visit our Patreon channel. Kama Jiu-Jitsu on Patreon. Rusty will leave a link below so you can go over there. That's a subscription site. So keep in mind that a lot of the stuff that we offer on our Patreon channel. What you're seeing on YouTube is only scratching the surface. The Patreon members get all the YouTube videos, of course. They get it sometimes the day before, but they also get our technical stuff, how we execute things. They get a lot of the details that our members in our academies get. So I'll just leave that one at that. But let me answer a question. This question came as a response to the Jiu-Jitsu academies versus gyms. Which should you choose? This came from PC Principle. It's taken me 5 months to learn what was already in this video. I train at a gym and prefer it. I'm not anti-academies though. The only thing I'd say that you didn't mention is that in my opinion, you're going to develop a personal style quicker in a gym, and that makes it easier to compete in the beginner white belt competitions. You can neglect entire areas of BJJ that don't fit your style, preferences, or body type, whilst you focus on those that do. Naturally, to make blue belt, you will really want to study them eventually. But in terms of competing as a 4-month white belt, I feel gyms put you at an advantage. Here we go. Style. Me develop my own style. I said it earlier in another video that white belts are white belts for a reason. You don't know anything at all. So if you don't know anything, how can you develop a style? The only style you can create or you can develop is the ignorance style, meaning you don't know anything. You need to learn, and I use this analogy all the time. You need to learn to write the alphabet, form words, form phrases, form sentences before you can even think of reading a novel. So you're thinking of going out and competing. Competing with what skill? At 4 months, you will develop no skill. You're just scratching the surface. Don't kid yourself. You need to learn what you're doing. Now, let's say you're a blue belt and you are in a gym, right? And this gym, you're just getting smashed all the time. You're not really learning anything of, I wouldn't say of substance, because you could be learning stuff of substance, but you're not learning anything on a schedule. You're just learning as you need to learn, like I mentioned in the video. But let's say you're a big dude and you're always playing top game. You're always smashing people. You're always on cross side or side control, whatever you want to call it. And your thing is to pass somebody's guard, and usually by doing one of those shove the knee through and just crawl over his knees and get to the guard pass, and then go and rip a kimura on somebody, far side arm kimura. So the other side of, rip the kimura. And that's your thing. That's your go-to thing. So your professor tells you, hey, look, you're really good at passing the guard. You're really good at ripping a kimura on people. So why don't you just keep working on that? Let's just try to work on your top game. Let's work on you getting better at that. Without ever saying, look, you're a big guy. So it's because you're a big guy, you're able to do that to everybody. But here's the thing. There's always somebody bigger. I had a student who was a pretty good, strong guy, good size, big, strong guy, 220, 230, strong as all heck, strongest in the school at the time, and entered a tournament. And I told him, to prepare, let's get you working on your bottom game. Nah, man, I'm good. I'm not going to let him get on top of me. I go, how are you not going to let somebody get on top of you, right? You're in a division where guys are as big or bigger than you, right? At 220, 230, a lot of times you're in absolute. 220, 230 is big, but it's not big, right? Anyway, he came up against a guy who was 100 pounds heavier than him. This guy was a lot bigger than him. I mean, his head was monstrous. Whereas our student, his head wasn't monstrous. He was a regular sized guy that was, 220, 230. And he wasn't what I would call a big 220, 230 pound guy. A big 220, 230 pound guy is about 6'4", 6'5", wrists this big, large head, big hands, big feet, right? That's a big dude. Whereas this guy was a lot more slight, but he weighed about that size, and he was strong for his size. He was not what I call a big block, right? If you think of car analogies here, you got a small block and a big block, right? So let's just think of Chevy, right? You got a 327 or 350 made from a small block, right? And you got a 427 made of a big block. Now, if you want to get real fancy with your car, you can take that small block engine, you can bore it out and stroke it, and you can make a small block that displaces 427 cubic inches. But you cannot make the valves and all that kind of stuff big enough to match what would be on a big block. So the big block will be much more efficient running with 400 horsepower than will be a small block. Small block's running at its max at 400, 450 horsepower, whereas a big block is just getting started. So you can be a big small guy, right? 220, 230, about 5'11", 6 foot, maybe 6'1", versus a guy who's slimmed down from 6'4", 6'5", and weighing 230 pounds. It's a different ball of wax altogether. My point is that if his instructor or an instructor tells this small big guy or big small guy, whatever you want to call it, to work your top game because he's bigger than everybody else relative to the school, and he's doing well, tells him to keep working that style of his, which is the top style, he's setting him up for disappointment. Because like I said, there's always somebody bigger, better, faster, stronger. This was pointed out when he came up to this guy. Couldn't handle him. The weight was just too much because he had never gone up against somebody that much bigger and that much stronger than him. It was completely foreign to him. Whereas a small guy, it doesn't matter if the guy is 250, 260, 280, 300. They're all bigger than him, right? It's just degrees of bigness. A guy who's small, who plays from the bottom, who's forced to and learns how to do it, he'll continue to be able to do it. The problem with him is that if he always plays from his back, right, he's got to want to get on top. But if his style is to keep playing from his back, then even when he has the opportunity to get on top and play the top game, he's not going to. I met a guy once who came in to train on a weekend with some students of mine, and he was a purple belt, very tall, about maybe 6'1", 6'2", not very, but tall, and very long and lanky. Played spider guard. That was pretty much his game. His game was an open guard game, primarily spider guard, De La Riva, that type of game. He went up against a blue belt, 2 blue belts of mine, that were very adept at passing guard. And they weren't bigger than him. They were his size or a little smaller than him. And they passed his guard. And being that he plays guard all the time, he was very good at recomposing the guard again. Once they got past his guard and they were able to hold cross-side and get to knee on the belly and pin him there for a while and then get to mount, for instance, he didn't really have a good mount escape. When they took his back, he didn't really have a good back escape. He just wanted to play guard. And there was one time where one of the students let him have it. Just, you know what? Let's see what this guy's going to do. I've already passed his guard, and I know I can pass his guard. And I know that's what he plays. Let's see where he is from the mount. So let's this guy mount him, right? The guard player. Let's the guard player mount him. But what does the guard player do? He finds himself in completely unfamiliar territory, and he decides to lay on his back and pull guard on him, knowing full well that the guy is going to pass his guard. He's a purple belt. So he's been training at this time about 6 or so years in this game. And his coach allowed him to develop his style, so to speak, because he didn't make him do everything in the game. teach him the entire art and make him work the entire art with equal amount of times, practice time, he got overly confident playing guard and very, very, what is that? Not confident in playing any other position, to the point where when it was given to him, he had no idea what to do. So long answer to your comment, PC Principle. I know you like being in the gym you're at. That's fine. However, the reason why you like it, it doesn't fly, right? You need to learn the way you would learn in a school. That whole thing about you being more able to compete, no, doesn't make any sense, right? As a white belt who doesn't know anything, it's just, you ever see that video on Facebook of those two little kids, maybe 3, 4 years old, in a Taekwondo tournament, and all they're doing is just, their legs are going like this, but they're dancing around, their legs are kicking. They never touch each other, right? Not once, but they're in full gear, and it's really cute. And you watch white belts who compete, who know nothing. They didn't wrestle, they didn't do any judo, no jiu-jitsu in the past, and they just go. What are they doing? They're just rolling around. They're brawling. They don't know anything. And is that the style you're talking about? You hold up. Oh, you hear that thunder? Here we are, Texas Spring. I suggest you take some time off of your competition schedule, make some time to learn what jiu-jitsu is all about, and forget this whole thing about style. Like I said, you should have no style yet because you don't know enough to create a style. We're talking deep into purple belt, brown belt. Yes, you will have a style. You will have developed a style by then, but it's only after having been through everything in the art. A lot of the art you've been exposed to by the time you're a purple belt in jiu-jitsu. A lot of going through purple belt and brown belt is just simply going over it and over it and over it again and refining what you learn. But you cannot create a style. You cannot have your own style until you know from what to choose from. Anyway, I hope that kind of helped to clarify things with other people who may have been thinking the same thing but just didn't comment. And I want to thank you guys for your time and watching our videos. I really appreciate it. I want to thank you for subscribing to our videos and hitting that like button and also hitting the bell, which will enable you to get alerts every time we do something and we add to this channel. I'm trying to do more videos for you guys. I'm trying to make more time so I can do these. Also, don't forget to hit the links below if you'd like to help the channel out. Some of the stuff you need, some of the stuff you want, please buy it through us, right? Hicks and Gracie's Self-Defense Unit, the KAATARO belts, which people still continue to buy. I keep hearing back from KAATARO how many students are coming in or how many practitioners are coming in buying belts through our link, and we really appreciate that. The cheap gis on Amazon you get, they're very high quality gis. They're just priced low. They're actually created by Scotty Nelson over on the mat, but they're not labeled at all. Very generic. Put whatever you want on them. And some books, and also if you like the video equipment that we use, we've been getting better equipment to not only record the video but also record the sound as well. Also, we put a link to the songs that Rusty puts on the videos as well. All of that is in the notes section of the video. Anyway, that's all I got for you. Thank you very much. God bless you all. Happy training. Bye-bye now.